Till the moment we met, I had no one to cling to be just everything to be my own true love. If this is a dream, let me keep on dreaming. Where have you been all my Sleep, go to sleep. Just lay down your weary head. Dream, sweet dream. Dream about tomorrow instead. Sleep, go to sleep. Whispering a lullaby too. Dream, sweetly dream, swinging with the man in the moon. Why don't you go and take it slow?
You should have been with us in our glory days. You'd have loved it.
You know, all your lovely dreams will come true. So just close your eyes, listen to a sweet lullaby. Sleep softly, sleep, and let the world go by.
This is Radio News. I'm your host. Welcome back to the Mr. New Vegas show. The show with, in my opinion, which I respect, the best looking audience around. Somebody prove me wrong? All the latest news coming your way right now. Prim formally sworn a new sheriff today. RNV reporters were on hand to hear the new sheriff address the crowd.
Loading public appeasement oration. Complete. Howdy, citizens. How about a yeehaw for law and order in the fine town of Error? Token not found.
Also in the headlines, the influx of displaced residents to the refugee camp at Bitter Springs has caused a strain on rations there. NCR officials are asking for donations. Well, that's all I have for you. This is Mr. New Vegas wishing you ladylike luck tonight. You're gonna love this next song, I guarantee. The best looking audience around. Somebody prove me wrong? All the latest news coming your way right now. Prim formally sworn a new sheriff today. RNV reporters were on hand to hear the new sheriff address the crowd.
Loading public appeasement oration.
The best looking audience around. Somebody prove me wrong? All the latest news coming your way right now. Prim formally sworn a new sheriff today. RNV reporters were on hand to hear the new sheriff address the crowd.
Loading public appeasement oration. Complete. Howdy, citizens. How about a yeehaw for law and order in the fine town of Error? Token not found.
Also in the headlines, the best looking audience around. Somebody prove me wrong? All the latest news coming your way right now. Prim formally sworn a new sheriff today. RNV reporters were on hand to hear the new sheriff address the crowd.
Loading public appeasement oration. Complete. Howdy, citizens. How about a yeehaw for law and order in the fine town of Error? Token not found.
Also in the headlines, the influx of displaced residents to the refugee camp at Bitter Springs has caused a strain on rations there. NCR officials are asking for donations. Well, that's all I have for you. This is Mr. New Vegas wishing you ladylike luck tonight. You're gonna love this next song, I guarantee it.
Welcome back, stranger. Good work, stranger. Here's a compens. I thank. Bring me a dozen fire gecko. Fire geckos are among the wasteland's most dangerous creatures.
You know, if you were...
Been doing a lot of good work out.
I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. When an irresistible force such as you meets an old immovable object like me, You can bet just as sure as you live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. When an irrepressible smile such as yours warms an old implacable heart such as mine, don't say no, 'cause I insist. Somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna get kissed. So on guard, who knows what the fates have in store from their vast.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
I'll try hard, ignoring those lips I adore. But how long can anyone try? Fight, 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 fight it with all of our might. Chances are some heavenly star-spangled night we'll find out as sure as we live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give.
First recon's at Camp Forlorn Hope. Now we've got a chance to hold it.
Hey, it's Mr. New Vegas letting you know I've got a new Christmas compilation coming out soon. Nuclear Winter Wonderland. Look for it on holotape. It's just about time to get you some news. The Black Mountain radio signal is back after a long absence. Listeners say the new programming is, quote, less for outcasts, more for weirdos. Also in the headlines, several unidentified aircraft were spotted flying over the RepCon test site by a local crackpot. He spoke to a toy bear near one of our microphones.
It's ghouls, I tell you. Religious ghouls in rockets looking for a land to call their own. Don't you laugh at me. I know a spell that'll make you show your true form. Cave Rat taught it to me.
That's the news. This is Mr. New Vegas filling in for Mr. New Vegas. You're gonna love this next song, I guarantee it.
Move along.
Where to, partner? High roller suite. Casino floor.
Welcome, sir, or...
To the town of our Frio rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town.
Welcome, sir, or...
He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came to whisper from his lip. And he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more, 1 in 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona Ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red, after Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
The morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death, about to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over.
You thought you could hide from me?
Folks had gathered round. The big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. Lay the body of the outlaw. Oh, he might. Big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Big iron.
You'll bleed, bitch.
When he tried to match the ranger with the big... Before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground.
There you are.
But he made one fatal slip. Tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big... When he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. New Vegas. Thank you very, very much for listening. Whoops, better put on my newsman fedora here. Tensions are brewing in Freeside between the ruling gang known as the Kings and the large number of NCR squatters seeking refuge there. The leader of the Kings, who would only identify himself as the King, voiced his displeasure, calling NCR citizens, quote, the devil in disguise. He added he didn't want to see the NCR in the ghetto and called for a mass, quote, return to sender. Also, Good Springs has fended off a mob of escaped convicts after organizing an impromptu militia. This according to an old man armed to the teeth with dynamite. These headlines were brought to you by Vault 21. Vault 21. Everything's better when you experience it in a vault. And now, I'd like to play one of my very favorite songs for you.
Sure, I heard something.
It's a sin to millions of hearts have been broken.
When I find you, I'm gonna eat your fleas.
Just
I'm Let
I yes I love. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin
What the fuck are you? If you're fucking carrying motor, we have a con coming through to see the boss. Don't shoot at him.
You hear about this courier doing shit around the strip? Like what? Delivering mail?
Whole lot of folk heart has done been broken.
So long as the cons keep making it, I keep getting high.
That's been spoken.
I love you. Yes, I long. If you break my heart, I'll die.
Prim is gonna be much tougher to push around with that new sheriff down there.
When you say I love you,
I wasn't expecting a I guess it isn't a sequel. Funny thing is, they just let us in. We needed someplace to put down roots. I try to keep my people out of West Side. Apart from trying to stay on... That fucking mutant is more trouble to kill than... I'm paying 20K. Oh.
Scared of those robots on the strip since they changed. Like, who needs the strip anyway?
I'm getting shakes. I need some.
Welcome back to the program. This is Mr. New Vegas, and I hope I'm not coming on too strong. And now the news. A hostage crisis between the NCR and the Great Khans was resolved peacefully when a third-party negotiator successfully secured the hostage's release. In addition, the Black Mountain radio signal is back after a long absence. Listeners say the new programming is, quote, less for outcasts, more for weirdos. You know, I think all news, whether it's good or bad, brings us closer together. Don't you? More classics coming right up for you, so stay tuned.
Watch yourself, profligate.
Halt! What bit? You wear the mark of cut. You may continue, but be warned.
As I go riding merrily along, and they sing, oh,
Hold your tongue, wastrel.
and that song ain't so very far from wrong. Oh, Lily Bell, oh, Lily Bell, though I may have done some fooling, this is why I never fell. 'Cause I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle.
Awe, are you ready? I am Cursar Luke. You'll be meeting face to face with the mighty. To my knowledge, this is the first time Caesar has ever summoned one of the dissolute to see him. All who are not Legion are dissolute. Their very existence is a blight on the common good. Even worse are the profligates, the subtype of. They hold themselves to be civilized. You'd know better than I would, but you must be. The trip will. By order of Caesar, alcohol and... I know not why you may bear Caesar strictly for your belongings. Hey. You may proceed. Your belongings will be returned when you leave.
I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle. As I go riding merrily along. And they sing, oh, ain't you glad you sing?
Hold your tongue, wastrel.
So you're the visitor I've heard. I haven't had the pleasure. He's the best the Legion has to offer. He killed one of my pack Brahmins simply because it was in. No, sir. Not at all. They're my best customers. Hell, I don't even need to travel with guards. Between having to hire protection and getting... But I do cross the river from...
True to Kaiser.
I've heard rumors that one of the
we're
tribes
back.
west
This
of the
is
river
Mr. New
were
Vegas, and I feel something magic in the air tonight, and I'm not just talking
My
about
feet are
the gamma
killing me.
radiation. This
Slaves are
just
much of
in.
a challenge in the arena.
Scavengers report hulking individuals moving around Hidden Valley after dusk,
Don't bother.
but have been unable to identify them due to low visibility. One more story for you. Merchants are saying that there's been little contact between traders from Nipton in recent days, causing concerns that the
I'm
isolated
harsh on
town
the children,
may
but they'll
be in
be
trouble.
excellent legionnaires.
Today's headlines were brought to you by Prem. Prem, the other New Vegas. In New Vegas, we know the pain that numbers can bring us. Well, so does Guy Mitchell, who's got
Watch yourself, profligate.
heartaches by the number.
If you're injured, I might have... What? A small town in New Mexico. 3 years and counting. If I could just get across the... We're property, if you're too young or too old. I never finished my training. The lead... I do know basic first aid, but I'm always running low on zinc. Oh, I've been using 2 roots per flower. A vengeful spirit. Some of the more... The story says he was set on fire and thrown into the Grand Canyon. Nonsense, probably, but... The legate is not a man to be crossed.
Move along.
And heartache number 2 was when you came back.
I'm looking forward to getting sent across.
You must enter Kaisar's temple.
Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, a love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Heartache number 3 was when you called me and said that you were coming back to stay. With hopeful heart I waited for you not long ago. I waited, but you must have lost your way. Yes, I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more.
Hey!
Yes, I've got heartaches by the number.
Kaisar awaits. You can speak with me later.
Kaisar, wait.
So I finally get to meet the courier who's accomplished so much. I mean, a man nearly killed. You arrive on the strip and walk. You assassinate the head of the chairman and his own. Then something happens to Mr. House when you set your mind to... The question... I have eyes and ears everywhere. It hasn't been hard to track. The time is fast approaching. Before that happens, I want Mr. House down the hill at the west. Inside the building is up. Now that same sigil, even more interesting, there's a I think the platinum chip opens those doors. Doors that can't be... I don't know. I know Mr. House built it. Yes, but you don't get it, do you? The weapons I... And yet my legion obeys me even unto death. House's machines, his technologies. That's not an idea to be put in circulation. I want you to destroy whatever you've... So go to the... Goodbye.
Some of the slave and spreading
We'll
stories.
talk again.
I suspect you'll be a valuable asset. To call the news ferocious would be an understatement. He thinks nothing of suffering losses, so long as the enemy suffers. Be glad you will not have to face his... Ah, yes. We are forbidden from speaking his true name. The burned man proved dangerous.
And when you've destroyed whatever is down in that bunker, not before.
It is a great honor for any... He's the best warrior in the Legion. A full... Had the Legate been in command during the... No. Legate Lanius is Kaisar's second. The Burned Man was Kaisar's... On Kaisar's orders. The Kaisar has forbidden us from... It's a tradition in the Praetorians to specialize in However, our unarmed tech... When I was a boy, the Legion... I fought in many battles for the Legion. The girls and women were enslaved. We were savages.
So on guard, who knows what the fates have in store.
The NCR... Kaisar has taught us that over-reliance on firearms can only weaken us in the... Unlike an NCR... We had the numbers, but not the talent. We relied too much on veteran legionaries for direction and... And just about every one of them is occupied. This is also only one...
Chances are some heavenly star-spangled night. We'll find out as sure as we live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. New Vegas here. You're all so great, and we're gonna keep you listening all day. some news for you coming right up. Scavengers report hulking individuals moving around Hidden Valley after dusk, but have been unable to identify them due to low visibility. One more story for you. NCR officials at Camp McCarran were relieved when technical difficulties with its monorail line to the new Vegas Strip proved easy to fix. One anonymous official told us a serious mechanical failure would have been a disaster because of the age of the train and the scarcity of the replacement parts.
Caesar has permitted your...
You know, I think all news, whether
Caesar...
good or bad, brings us closer together. Don't you?
The new slave
And now,
girls are
I'd like to play
beautiful.
one of my very favorite songs for you.
I see you reached your destination. Was that meant to be a shocking revelation? But you're not going to do. As you know, the Securitron's policing the strip. I need you to manual. There's a complication. That means I can't deactivate. The same equipment failure that there's a security room near. My army will do what an army. I like to think you have enough sense to do.
To the town of our free rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip. And he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and then many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more. 1 in 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was in Arizona, stranger wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red. After Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death, about to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas red and not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped. And the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and
Your work here is done. You have a very bright future.
Keep barking and I'll feed you to a dog.
You've carried out Caesar's will. Your The mark of Caesar protects you.
Our way.
I felt the ground shake a while. Let's press on, shall we? As I was you have an interest in his death, too. You know where... My Praetorians embody the mark. Instead, I invited them to join my guard. The fight is to the... Lucius has been the head of my guard. No invitee has dared... Vulpes is the best of my frumentari. He was brought into the Legion as a boy, then in battle against an unimportant tribe. Well, his Centurion wanted him crucified. Whatever I require, infiltrate. They're mentally flexible. Linnaeus is the greatest of my battlefield commanders. Once, he was the greatest warrior of the Hydebarks, a tribe of the Arizona. When after several months we found and surrounded the Hydebark, the warrior who was not yet Linnaeus went in. He killed 50. I had him tended to. When he did, I went to his bedside and showed him the helmet I'd had. He accepted, on condition that he be allowed to kill the surviving males of his tribe. I said, make it the adult males. Linnaeus is savage. Savagely loyal, too, but he has no attachment to his men. When another legatus or his first step is to beat the failed commander to death in front of his... It means death. The legionaries are lined up in row. It instills a certain... Yes. There will be no failure this time, no retreat, no years of gatherings with Linnaeus to drive the Legion. It's not going to... And I've heard it's a bad... Do you want my opinion as a young man, I was taught to venerate. Did you know her presidency lasted 50? Does that sound like a democracy? Because the council didn't dare... So things ran smoothly, more or less. Ever since losing its queen, the NCR. Greed runs rampant. The government is corrupt. The NCR is a loose conglomerate of... It's not built to... Of course. Until now, every tribe I've come... My conquest of the Mojave will be a... just as my namesake campaigned in Gaul before he crossed the Rubicon. What else? I know he's a coward. Some say he's a man, others a machine. I've analyzed. Ironically, my family lived not far from the Great Boneyard. She found work at their library, cooking. Oh yes, raised in that. I may have taken. When I was 20, the followers sent me east to Grand as an anthropologist, and if you think it's worthwhile to make smart people learn how to... Anyway, we met up with a Mormon missionary who already... But before that went too far, they were a backward bunch. The Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes. It's one thing to be taken hostage, another to be lashed to a sinking ship. I taught them how to use the guns they already had, They looked at me like I was some kind of a sorcerer. So if there's anything I learned as a follower, divide et impera, divide and conquer. When they refused to surrender, I ordered every man. I took one of their on. This was new for the tribes, you see. They played at war, raiding each other, a little raid. I showed them. Kaibabs joined me, and the Fredonians. I knew from the start I'd need. So that's what I did once my confederation of tribes was. I sent Calhoun, the follower captured with me back west. Joshua Graham. That's right. Decades of warfare. My legion's expansion has never ceased. We have cities of our own, but nothing. I used Imperial Rome as the model. I'd seen what had become of... Rome was a highly... It dedicated it. In Rome, I found a society that could prevent... It means a nationalist, imperialist, total... long-term stability.
Loading public appeasement oration. Complete. Howdy, citizens. How about a yeehaw for law and order in the fine town of Error? Token not found.
One more story for you. NCR Correctional Facility is now under prisoner control following a successful riot. Locals should avoid anyone who looks like they've done time. And that's the news. Gonna play a song for you right now. And it's about that special someone you find only once in a blue moon.
No, I'll destroy it because it's inevitable. How do I put this basically enough? The fundamental premise is to envision history as a sequence of which inherently contains or creates, but the resolution of the bombs wiped the slate clean. Human civilization descended to... The NCR has all the... Just as with the ancient republic, it is natural that a military thesis and from a... It's called an autodoc. You can treat... Makes for a powerful gift in a culture that... Complete your...
True to Kaiser.
Some of the slaves have been spreading. You may proceed. I'll wait. Are you ready?
I heard somebody
later, but...
And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue, now I'm no longer alone. Without a dream in my own, without a love of my own.
Move along.
Howdy, folks. It's Mr. New Vegas, and I have a good feeling about all of you listening.
Well, howdy, partner.
Right now, tensions are brewing in Freeside between the ruling gang known as the Kings and the large number of NCR squatters.
Where to, partner?
The leader of the Kings, who would only identify himself as the King, voiced his displeasure calling in
Mr. House is just pleased.
the devil in disguise. He added he didn't want to see the NCR in the ghetto and called for a mass quote.
The foundation is laid. My Securitrons on the Strip are upgraded, and those at the fort. Now it's just a matter of adjusting the attitudes of some lesser groups. Outside New Vegas, they are, shall we say, aggressively reclusive. Artillery of this sort has a range of several... If not, then I want to make sure... I'd rather you... Yes, I know. You... The next step is... one of the followers of the... Good luck planting. New Vegas is more than a city. The city's economy is a blast furnace in which... What is the NCR? With all that money pouring in? Give me 20 years and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years, 100 years, and my colony ships would... I would rule as the chief executive. I would not answer to a board of directors. Nothing to impede progress. I have no interest in abusing others, just as I have no interest in nor have I any interest in being worshipped as some kind of machine. But autocracy? Firm... They occupied Nellis Air Force Base a little over 50 years. Odds are... Use extreme caution. Recently, one of my roaming Securitrons